I messed up tonight. I lost another fight. I still mess up, but I'll just start again. I keep falling down. I keep on hitting the ground. I always get enough. See what's next. Birds don't just fly. They fall down and get up. Nobody learns without getting it wrong. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I could fail.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Zootopia Minute, the minute-by-minute podcast where we review, analyze, and scrutinize, stealing that word from you last time, Choco. I like that word, scrutinize. Scrutinize the hit Disney film of 2016, Zootopia, and we are back. We know it's been a little bit of a break. We apologize for that. We have lots of breaks like that. Hoping to get a more consistent schedule soon, but we do have good reason for a break because Choco did a bunch of exciting stuff over the past 2 weeks while I did nothing exciting at all.
And we'll make it up to you by telling you some fun stories of my trips abroad in California and Dallas. Very abroad.
Excellent. So this is minute 23. And it begins in the movie right as the lemmings are beginning to take bites out of those popsicles that Nick and Toot Toot are selling. And it ends as Judy runs after Nick because something sinister, as we remember from last minute, is going on. She follows Nick, finds what's going on. They're actually selling the popsicle sticks to some little rodent construction workers. So they're making a profit here.
Yeah.
But very nefarious, clearly. Judy's upset about that. So it ends right as she runs after Nick and says, "You're under arrest." And Nick says, "Oh, really?"
So we'll see what happens afterwards, but let's focus on this minute. It's a fun minute. We get to see, first of all, we get to see a little Tutu. It's not as little or as young as we probably think he is.
Yeah, that was a bit jarring. But I mean, I guess let's go through this sort of chronologically, I suppose. The very first thing we see is these lemmings are all very neatly in a line picking up these popsicles that Nick is selling. Because as we discussed before, there's the idea of lemmings following each other, even off cliffs, which you said was a Disney documentary where they like put them on a platform that was shaking or something
Yes.
weird and sadistic like that.
Yes. So it's a manufactured myth because of that situation.
It's crazy how that kind of thing happens, how that sort of idea becomes lodged in our culture, and it was fake to begin with. Oh well. Anyway, it works for the movie. The lemmings are eating their popsicles, and like good citizens, they toss them into those recycling bins, which I notice are conveniently placed at various staggered heights off the ground, probably to accommodate the different heights of the animals that live in Zootopia. Though it's funny because it seems like they all managed to throw it into the topmost one, or get very close to.
Yeah, and they have really good throwing abilities for smaller lemmings. They got into the tallest
so
one.
I'm wondering if those other heights are really all that necessary. Maybe just for show. Okay, hold on 1 second. I need to go tell my cat to shut up. Ugh. Okay, just be quiet. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. My cat was
Alright.
being very loud there for a moment.
No worries.
What we do see is that underneath these recycling bins, Toot Toot was hiding with a little wagon or something. So they've actually collected these popsicle sticks and they're wheeling them into that nice, classy van we saw from the previous minute, wheeling them away as Judy watches from above. So they're taking them someplace. And actually, another bit of room for a great animal pun there. I don't know if you noticed, but as we're panning above that shot and we're looking down at the van, there's a bank, and I'm pretty sure, like, you can't see the whole sign, but I'm pretty sure it says Furs National Bank.
Oh, that's...
Which is like the laziest pun ever, and
Yeah,
they should be
because
ashamed.
It doesn't make sense because... would that imply it's the first bank or fur? It doesn't make sense. But I just came back from a
because
furry
they're
con
animals,
with too much
Choco.
puns.
Don't you get it?
I just came back from a furry con with not a furry, but I came back from a furry con with all these puns, so I'm kind of tired of them. That's the name of the episode. At FurryCon, not a furry.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Okay, so we find out that they actually take these popsicle sticks to a low rodent construction yard where they're clearly using popsicle sticks to build low buildings.
Yeah, which is amazing, of course. More visual humor. These rodents, they're so small, they would use popsicle sticks to build houses with. Here's what I want to know, though. They bring these popsicle sticks over. If you look at the building that they're constructing already, the wood that looks like it's already part of the building, that also looks like popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's exclusively what they use to build. They don't get wood from elsewhere.
What's the word?
Yeah, well, sometimes we get the popsicle sticks. We really like to get the popsicle sticks, but if we can't get that, chopsticks will suffice. A tongue depressors even. Anything sufficiently small and lightweight.
What's the term? Was it subsistence living, or I don't know?
Subsistence living?
Yeah, something like that. Like, they're really eco-friendly and recycling what the larger animals throw away.
It could be, yeah.
Which makes sense because rodents are scavengers, so...
There you go. But I want to know, because, what is a popsicle stick made out of? Is it balsa? Because it seems like it's lightweight.
I don't know. Some of them are really, really hard because they have to withstand, like, the freezing and splintering from cold
Right,
weather.
So it's probably not... No, I don't think it is balsa wood. I think it's just some sort of straight wood.
Mostly depends on...
Generic
also, craft popsicle sticks that are exclusively sold in craft stores are going to be very different than popsicle sticks you actually get from actual popsicles.
Yeah. Isn't that funny that they do sell things as popsicle sticks with the full knowledge that you're probably not really going to use these to make popsicles?
Yeah.
I always make those collapsing, like, exploding shuriken. You, like, fold them up a different way and they're held together by tension, but if they hit something hard enough, they'll spring apart and fly everywhere.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah,
well, actually, this scene got me thinking because, again, as a non-furry at a furry con, I was vending, and one of the things I have to worry about is calculating my overhead costs and profits. So thinking about that, I realized they're making profit selling the popsicle sticks, but they had to get those popsicle sticks from somewhere else. So where did they get it from? Did they take the giant popsicle stick that was in the giant jumbo pop and cut it into all these little shapes?
And cut it up?
Yeah, or did they actually have to buy the craft popsicle sticks and use them? So we don't know.
I don't know. You know what? Because I calculated the profit they were making in the last minute, right? But I didn't take that into account. There definitely would be some expenses from the popsicle sticks. I don't think it was the same stick that came with the jumbo pop because the wood wasn't red yet. Because we have this observation now. They bring the wood over to the construction site and the mouse foreman is like, "Hey, what's with the color?" And Nick says, because they're stained red, right? He's the color there, it's redwood. It's redwood, yeah.
But now they have this giant popsicle stick. What are they going to do with it? They probably do wash it, and I'm sure they would probably have to get like a popsicle hole punch or press or something. I'm sure they have to reuse it somehow.
It's a good question. Maybe they really did use the big stick. I don't know. If we would go back and watch that minute where they were melting it on the roof and see if Nick does anything with the stick after the fact, because I don't remember. Yeah. Someone go watch that and comment in the YouTube comments. Let us know, because I'm too lazy to go look it up.
That's us. We only look at one minute at a time. We can't go back. We can't go forward. Sorry about that.
My entire experience is just 1 minute at a time of this movie. I wish, honestly, I have seen this whole movie all in one sitting at least like 3 different times now, I think. But I'm really wondering what someone's experience would be if they'd literally never seen this movie except for in little 1 minute chunks at a time. Probably end up with a different perspective on the movie.
Or if they actually just listen to our podcast 1 minute at a time without even seeing the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I hope
we're
do
painting a very fantastic picture of furries and not furries.
This is annotated Zootopia.
All right. So, yeah, we do see that they are actually building with popsicle sticks, so I'm sure they're used to unstained popsicle sticks.
Right, which is why he's asking about the color. So yeah, the popsicle sticks that they buy directly, wherever they get it from, they must not have been getting it from Nick this whole time, is what I'm saying, right?
Maybe they're
because otherwise they'd expect, what color is it going to be this time? Last time it was blue.
Or maybe they're really well clean, like under high pressure water or water bath. That stuff goes away pretty fast. So.
Well, water can clean almost anything. Water under pressure can cut through almost anything too. Yeah. It's scary.
Or water, just freezing water can break through anything.
Yeah, freezing and unfreezing, compression and all that. Oh my gosh, and more, some of the visual humor they do with this construction scene. Because Judy's been following around this whole time, right? And we see Judy, she's like, grrr, I'm angry at witnessing this
Well, her face is almost as big as the little porta potties.
Yeah, the tiny little porta potties and the tiny little trailer. Ugh. I love it so much. Okay, a porta potty that small though? Like, so is there just a mouse porta potty company that just does mouse porta potties? Or do you think that there's just a porta potty company and they make porta potties of various sizes? Like, in other words, do you think the commerce in this town is all based around size in the way that, you know, this is a company that does things specifically for these small animals, and so each size of animal has separate companies making all their goods? Or is there just one big company that makes the same type of goods but at different scales?
Are they allowed to have monopolies? That's the question.
Yeah.
I guess
Maybe...
we'll have to see once we actually see more of this rodent village of what it looks like. If they actually are independent.
Yeah. Speaking of Monopoly and tiny things, they could probably use that little metal hat piece, the top hat in Monopoly, which I always play as in Monopoly.
Oh, did you hear that they changed?
Yeah, they changed it. That's what I was gonna bring up. They've
crazy.
got like a bunch of new ones, but they're getting rid of like the thimble and the Scotty dog and the iron, and I'm like, no.
Well, that kind of makes
classic.
sense because the thimble is just something that everyone had at their house. That's why they used them to play. And the Scotty dog and iron were actually stolen from Crack-Jack toys.
I like how you know this. That's just something you know.
The original Monopoly game actually then came with game pieces, so they said they recommend you find whatever you have laying around the house.
Is that why?
Yeah, and so back then the things that they had available were like little Crack-Jack toys. That's why you see like little Scotty dogs and stuff, and things you find laying around the house like thimbles.
I had no idea.
And after World War II, when they actually finally started making die-cast pieces to kind of honor that tradition, they made them in the same style of what kids were using to play decades before then. So, kind of interesting.
That's so weird.
Tidbit that no one in their right mind needs to know.
I learned something new today. Thank you for sharing. Wow.
You're welcome. So, after this rodent scene, we get to see a scene where Nick is giving Toot his little payout.
His share of the hustle money, yeah.
And he gets into the car. He somehow is able to rev the car without, even though he's obviously very, very short. Somehow he's able to hit the
as he's driving
acceleration.
away. Well, first of all, hold on a second, because how much money did he get? $40? It sounded like $40, right? Like 38, 39, 40. There you go, bud.
Yeah.
But
that isn't that much,
my
then.
calculation from last time, they should be getting way more unless Nick is just keeping a larger share.
Maybe the extra revenue goes into, covering the cost of the next. Yeah. So we don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out later when they calculate how much to make. We'll see.
I guess so. Well, so Toot receives his share, gets in the van. Nick sort of gives him a playful goodbye, being like, oh, like, daddy's got to go now, or whatever he says, something like that. Toot, who's been wearing a pacifier in his mouth the whole time, by the way, suddenly spits it out and in a very deep, gruff voice says, "You kiss me tomorrow, I'll bite your face off." This is where we learn, oh, that's not actually a kid fox. That's not Nick's son at all. This is just some other fox.
Unless he has a very deep baritone voice for some reason.
Right, which would be very strange. But I mean, it is
Puberty
a fennec
hit him
fox.
hard. Yeah.
So I think what helped the idea of this fox being Nick's son is because it's so small. But fennec foxes already are smaller than red foxes, which
They're
I guess
adorable.
That's
people who have them as pets. You could bathe them in sinks. So yeah,
they're so cute. Well, so Toot drives away, and I noticed. Did you notice the music he put on?
Yeah, it was some type of.
It was in
like
French.
Mexican. No, I think it was Mexican.
No, it was definitely French.
Are you sure?
You know how I know
Okay.
it was French?
How?
Because I had the captions on, and the caption says French hip hop plays, and also it sounded like French. If
it was Mexican, it would make sense because the painting on the van was
Aztec
based off
thing.
the Aztec Mexican painting. But okay, French.
No, it was
interesting.
definitely French, and now like someone should go listen to that and tell us what they're saying.
Yeah, and if
'Cause
we
I
have
wanna
any
know
French
why he's-
listeners out there, tell us
Yeah.
in the comments below what the song is.
Those francophone listeners out there, why French of all languages? I don't know. But he pops on his cool aviator shades, drives away, and as the van recedes, we see Judy standing out in the open, and she finally confronts Nick, says, "You know what? I stood up for you, and you lied to me." To which Nick replies, "It's called a hustle, sweetie." Which, yes, that's what they were doing. That's what we figured out. They've been hustling this whole time.
Yes.
Quick-witted, making money on the side.
Now,
It's like that Uber commercial. Your side hustle.
exactly. Now, this makes
is
us
their
go
side
back
hustle.
to a previous minute to think about. Because if this was a hustle the entire time, did he actually know he wanted to hustle Judy when he asked...
What was his plan? If he
about his
didn't know
money.
Judy was there,
Yeah.
what was his plan to get the popsicle from the elephant guy? Was he just like, oh no, the elephant guy won't sell me my popsicle. I guess we have to do something else. Was it just sheer luck that Judy showed up? It must
Perhaps,
have been.
but also he conveniently forgot his wallet too, so that must have been planned as well, or...
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that one.
So it's like, we're assuming he's used to doing this hustle for a while now. He seems to be very, very good at it. But I guess maybe he appeared at the popsicle shop so many times that it got suspicious. But then on top of that, even when Judy came in and helped him and all that stuff, which could have changed the situation around, how did he all of a sudden plan on top of his head, I'm going to conveniently forget my wallet, so this police officer is going to pay for my popsicle?
Yeah, that seems like too many variables left open. If I was doing a hustle, I would want to have more control than that, I think.
Yeah. Nick
He
just
lucked out
probably
on that
thought
one, I
Judy
guess.
was a... Yeah, he probably thought Judy was a bleeding heart liberal and said, nah, I don't take advantage of her. Let's go. So.
Yeah, because we all know Judy is very tolerant of of foxes.
I stood up for you. What is it? It's not white knighting. It's prey knighting. I don't know.
I don't know, red knighting. He's
Red
a red
knighting.
fox.
There we
Something
go.
like that, I guess. Well, so what we finally see next is Nick, in his defense, says,
I'm not the liar. He is, and he points to the right of him.
and Judy foolishly looks over and looks back, and he's gone. And he's gone.
And typically, that's a tactic that rabbits would pull in old cartoon shows to hunters and
Yeah,
prospectors
for
and
some reason,
ducks.
I have this mental image in my head of a very clever rabbit for some reason. Who knows where that's coming from? But yeah, pulled a fast one on Judy, Nick did, but not quite fast enough. She looks back to her right and sees his tail disappearing behind a wall, so she runs after him.
That's still
and
pretty
says-
fast, though.
Yeah, still pretty fast, still pretty impressive, but not fast enough for Judy to catch up and say, "Yeah, you're under arrest." And that's where our minute ends, with
Yeah.
Nick saying, "Oh, really?" And then our minute ends, and we don't know what's going to happen next, but
Nick looks pretty confident, so...
he does. So I think he probably thinks he's in a position that he's going to have control of the situation and get out of it. So we'll have to see who wins. It's a battle
Probably
of
has a
wits.
little trick up his short sleeves.
His short sleeves and his suave Hawaiian fox husband shirt.
Yes.
Justice. So that'll be there for our next minute. But again, guys, we do apologize for the big break that we took. We know we take a lot of these big breaks. It takes a while to sort of coordinate times to record these. But also, Choco had quite a fun time during his break. You traveled a bit, didn't you?
Yes. So I'll probably save one story for today and one story for the next episode, so we could kind of give you something to wait for. But I went back home to California. I got to see my dad. My dad's moved to Japan, and he's coming back. He came back to America for a week to do some doctor checkups. And so I decided to fly out there and catch him for a few days before he flew back to Japan.
That's awesome.
And
What's he do in Japan?
he lives in a small little rural mountain community where he complains that the donuts are too expensive. In fact, that's the only thing he was mostly complaining about. He was telling me the entire time, yeah, can you believe the donuts are like $150 in Japan or something like that? So because of that, by the third day of him complaining, I took him out to Krispy Kreme and we got a dozen
There you go.
original glaze just to, okay, here's your donuts.
Hold him over till next he can have his cheap donuts again. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a deal breaker for me too, I think. Oh, trip to Japan? Oh, they have expensive donuts? No, deal's off. Sorry.
Yeah.
No can do.
Well, his new wife, his new wife came home with him as well, and she seemed pretty nice. She cooked his dinners every day. She already is trying to fill the role my mom, who passed away a few years ago. So my dad did remarry, and this new wife is trying to fill the motherly role pretty well. In fact, she had me sit at the table and eat all this food, and I could not leave the table until I was full. So she was trying to fatten me up. It was like very, very good Japanese food. She made me ramen, sushi, udon, tempura. So
Ooh, that sounds so good.
my dad must be lucky having this cooking every night.
I love Japanese food. It's so
Oh
good.
yeah.
very
But one
savory.
thing that was exciting was I got to show both of them Zootopia.
No way! That's awesome. And what did they think?
Well, my dad the entire time was asking me, will the fox and bunny get married? Will the fox and bunny get married at the end? So he was already thinking the fox and bunny was going to get married, which actually surprised me because my dad's a little bit more on the conservative end of the scale. Very, very, very right.
But is he a furry?
Well, that's the thing. His username, when he first got emails, his username used to be like Wolf something.
Yeah, he's a furry.
And yeah, like his house, in the house, he has a collection of like Lego toys, but he also has a collection of like wolf statues and stuff. He used to have wolf shirts, so he liked wolves. But what was interesting is my dad, I don't know how progressive he is in terms of like same gender marriage or even interracial marriage, but for some reason, he seemed okay with Bunny and Fox falling in love with each other. Mm-hmm. In fact, at the end of the movie, he was like, what do you think their babies will look like? And I'm like, I don't think they could have babies, but...
It's furry talk right there. Well, I mean, to be fair, it could be that it's so abstract that the idea of two different anthropomorphized animals are in a relationship or married or having babies or whatever. It's so far removed from humanity that it's not even a real comparison to something like
normally
interracial
I would
marriage.
Think that. But he reads too far into these movies. He thinks most movies are like leftist propaganda, and he reads too far. Like if you have a minority in the main role and he's dating a white girl, he's going to like automatically point that out as like, you know, liberal propaganda. So so he reads that far into things. So I'm surprised he didn't read too far into this.
That's our proof that Zootopia isn't liberal propaganda.
Yeah.
The guy that finds liberal propaganda in absolutely everything didn't see it here.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Our final proof.
And in fact, he was excited. He really wanted to know what their babies look like. And he was asking me, what are their babies going to look like? What are their babies going to look like? Is there a sequel? I'm like, I'm not sure yet.
Your dad sounds fun.
But I asked him, because he did seem to enjoy the movie. So I asked him afterwards, did you like the movie? He was like, it was a little too much for me. And I'm not too sure what he meant by that. But I remember one specific scene that he kind of just threw up his arms and was like, oh, that's way too much. I don't want to spoil that scene until it comes up, but it's the scene with Nick's backstory, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, okay, that's a little too far. So
a little too much.
Yeah, so that was the one thing he did not really like too much. But then the next movie we saw was Doctor Strange. He loved Doctor Strange, so...
I still haven't seen Doctor Strange. I really need to see it.
If you do see Doctor Strange, they make portals by kind of spinning their hands in a circle, and it kind of makes sparks that make a portal. After the movie, my dad got a flashlight and was making circles with the flashlight trying to make portals. And he did that for the next 3 days, imitating
so cute.
the characters in Doctor Strange. So he was like acting like a kid with that. So I'm glad I got to see movies with my dad that he enjoyed. So
yeah, that sounds super cool. Well, awesome. That sounds like you had a great trip out there.
Aside from our little debate about Trump at the beginning, aside from that. Everything else was good.
There you go.
That's family for you. What do you expect?
Fair enough. Well, it sounds like you had a lot of fun.
I did.
I didn't have quite as eventful of a break, but very recently I did actually have a birthday just a few days ago from the time we're recording this, actually. I turned 22, and before anyone links it in the comments, yes, that Taylor Swift song, I've been sent it dozens of times already. You don't have to keep sending it to me. Thanks.
There's a Taylor Swift song?
Yeah, there's a Taylor Swift song. It's just called 22.
Oh.
And it's like about being 22 or something, I guess. I don't know.
Well, what did you get for your 22nd birthday?
Oh, well, I got a lot of cards. One of the coolest things I got was a little linear wave sampler, which is just a little machine for sampling and arranging sounds into a pattern for like composing and stuff.
Ooh,
which is
fun.
pretty cool. Little piece of electronic music gear there, which I
Sounds
don't have a lot
high-tech.
of. Yeah, so it's something I get to learn how to use now and maybe drop some ill beats with or something, as the kids would say, those ill beats. But yeah, I did have a good birthday, and it sounds like you had an awesome trip. And we hope that everyone listening has had an awesome time enjoying Zootopia Minute. That just about does it for this episode, but we'll be back again very soon, so be sure to tune in on that. If you enjoy Zootopia Minute, please give us a like on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube. You can email us at zootopiaminute@gmail.com. and follow our Twitter at Zootopia Minute for lots of fun updates and things like that. So thanks again for listening, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.
Have a good one.